Most people have at least one irrational animal fear. Maybe sharks, thanks Hollywood, or perhaps anything that slithers, crawls, or flies at eye level. But what if we told you that the real threats aren't always the ones we expect? Some creatures actively rack up human casualties, while others lurk in the shadows, rarely seen, but incredibly deadly if you cross paths. That's why animal experts and common sense both agree. Don't touch wildlife ever if you want to live. A 2019 study from Utah State University revealed that over 47,000 people in the U.S. seek medical treatment for wildlife encounters every year. And while only 8 fatalities occur on average, that's still 8 people who seriously underestimated nature's dark side. In today's video, we're diving into the animal kingdom's deadliest members, 15 creatures that could end you in the most unexpected ways. Some you know, some will seriously surprise you. Let's start off with number 15, hippopotamus. Hippos might look like chubby, oversized water cows, but don't let their goofy appearance fool you. These rage-filled river tanks are among the most dangerous animals in not just Africa, but all around the world. Highly territorial and wildly unpredictable, hippos don't hesitate to defend their turf with extreme force. If a crocodile, another hippo, or an unlucky tourist boat wanders too close, they'll charge with the speed of a sprinter and the bite force of a wrecking ball. And when they bite, it's with 2,000 pounds per square inch of pressure, double that of a lion. Their 2-foot-long tusks can snap a body in half, and they've been known to capsize boats just for existing in their space. And let's not forget their blood-red sweat, which isn't actually blood but a built-in sunscreen and antibacterial. Because apparently, being a 40-mile-per-hour death machine with armor-plated skin wasn't intimidating enough. If you ever see one, it's best to keep a 100-meter distance. Number 14, box jellyfish. Floating silently in Indo-Pacific waters, the box jellyfish is so transparent you might not even see it until it's too late. These nearly invisible killers move at 5 miles per hour, which doesn't sound fast until you realize that they don't need to chase you, just drift into your path and let their tentacles do the rest. Each cube-shaped body has up to 15 tentacles, stretching over 10 feet long, packed with thousands of microscopic stinging cells that inject a venom more potent than a cobra's bite. Once stung, your heart, nervous system, and skin all go into meltdown mode at the same time. Most victims die before they even reach shore, either from shock, heart failure, or drowning. Even survivors don't get off easy. The pain lasts for weeks, and they're often left with deep, rope-like scars. The Philippines alone records up to 40 deaths per year, a reminder that the deadliest things are often the hardest to see. So, always keep your eyes open. Number 13, cone snail. Looks can be deceiving, and the cone snail is proof. Just Google about it and you'll get why I say that. These gorgeous little gastropods, easily recognized by their intricate marbled shells, look harmless enough in the warm, tropical shallows they call home. If you're thinking about to touch one, well, it's a big mistake. Lurking inside that pretty shell is a harpoon-loaded, venom-packed horror show. Their weapon of choice? A microscopic spear-like tooth that fires out, injecting a cocktail of neurotoxins that instantly paralyze the victim. This venom, called toxin, can shut down nerve communication, meaning your body stops working before your brain even realizes what's happening. No anti-venom exists, and your only warning sign is a tiny sting. After that, your time is up. In fact, they call it the cigarette snail, because you'd have just enough time to smoke one before you're dead. So yeah, maybe let this beautiful killer stay in the ocean where it belongs. Number 12, Nile crocodile. If hippos weren't already making African rivers terrifying enough, meet the Nile crocodile, a prehistoric murder machine that's been perfecting its ambush tactics for millions of years. Easily topping 1,600 pounds, these crocs are lightning fast, ridiculously strong, and aggressively territorial. They don't just attack. They launch themselves at prey with explosive power, dragging victims into the water before death rolling them into submission. Their bite? Well, a bone-crushing 5,000 psi, stronger than any other animal on Earth. So what do these beasts munch on? Well, any and everything. They're not picky eaters. Humans, cattle, zebras, even other crocodiles are all on the menu. In Mozambique alone, over 300 Nile crocodile attacks happen every year, with another 150 in Namibia. And since they lurk just beneath the surface, blending in perfectly, you usually don't see them until they explode out of the water. If there's any rule to live by in Africa, it's this: never stand too close to the water's edge. Number 11. Lion. You'd think that being the king of the jungle would mean living the easy life, but lions didn't earn their title by being lazy or watching trending Netflix series. These lethal, bone-crushing predators hunt with military precision, working in small, highly coordinated pride to ambush, surround, and take down their prey before it even knows what's happening. If you hear their 114 decibel roar, well, let's say, it's probably too late. Their claws can slice through flesh like butter, and their bite, strong enough to crush a skull, leaves little room for escape. But here's the real danger. Lions aren't afraid of humans. While they usually prefer antelope and zebras, get too close to a pride, and they'll charge without hesitation, especially if they're protecting cubs or during breeding season. In total, lions kill around 200 people per year, proving that even in the modern world, some rulers still sit at the top of the food chain. Number 10. Golden poison dart frog. Some animals kill with claws, fangs, or brute strength. The golden poison dart frog? Well, it just sits there looking tiny and harmless until you realize that a single frog holds enough poison to kill 10 grown men. Yup, it can. And pretty easily. Found in Colombia's Pacific rainforests, this bright yellow amphibian barely grows to the size of a paperclip, but its toxin is among the most potent natural poisons on Earth. Just 2 micrograms, the amount that fits on a pinhead, can end a human life. And unlike venomous creatures that have to bite or sting, this little killer doesn't need to do anything. Its skin is literally coated in death. Even a casual touch can be a one-way ticket to cardiac failure. Indigenous Embera hunters figured this out centuries ago, lacing their blow darts with the toxin for effortless kills. But while deforestation threatens this lethal beauty's survival, one rule remains unchanged. If you see one, don't touch it, ever. Number 9. Indian saw-scaled viper. Most snakes either blend in or give a warning. The Indian saw-scaled viper does both, and then still bites you anyway. One of the deadliest snakes in the world, it's responsible for more human deaths than almost any other snake species. Why? Because it lives among us, hiding in deserts, farms, and even villages across India, Pakistan, and the Middle East. At just 2 feet long, it disappears into the landscape, lying in wait until an unsuspecting human steps too close. Then, if threatened, it coils up and rubs its scales together, producing a chilling, sizzling sound, a rare built-in snake alarm system. Ignore the warning, and you're in for a bad time. This snake doesn't just bite, it injects more than double the lethal dose of venom per strike. Luckily, an anti-venom exists, but if you're in the middle of nowhere when it happened, good luck. Number 8. Deathstalker scorpion. If your name is literally Deathstalker, you're not here to play around. This pale yellow scorpion, found lurking in deserts from North Africa to the Middle East, is the most venomous scorpion on Earth. It's not big, only about 4 inches long, but what it lacks in size, it makes up for in pure nerve-destroying power. Its stinger moves at a blinding 127 centimeters per second. injecting a venom that can cause intense pain, convulsions, and even pulmonary edema. Even healthy adults who survive the sting wish they hadn't been stung at all. Between 2005 and 2015, over 16,000 people in the U.S. needed medical treatment for scorpion stings, more than half of them in Arizona alone. And if you're a child, elderly, or already in bad health, the deathstalker doesn't just hurt, it kills. The moral of the story? If you see one, admire it from a distance, or just run. Number 7. Cape buffalo. The Cape buffalo isn't the biggest or fastest animal in Africa, but it doesn't need to be. It's mean enough, stubborn enough, and tank-like enough to make up for it. Nicknamed Black Death, which is never a good sign. These nearly one-ton beasts don't just shrug off bullets, they're infamous for hunting down their attackers. That's right. If a hunter wounds a Cape buffalo, it will double back, circle, and charge like a vengeful tank. They're responsible for more hunter deaths than any other African animal, and they don't stop just because you shot them. They've been known to continue charging even while injured. With 35-mile-per-hour sprint speeds and massive curved horns built for destruction, these giants are walking battering rams. They also don't care if you're a human, a lion, or even a vehicle. If you threaten them or their herd, they will end you. Simple as that. Number 6. Inland taipan. The good news, the inland taipan doesn't actively go out looking for trouble. And bad news, if you accidentally start trouble with it, you're probably not walking away from it. Found in Australia's remote outback, this reclusive, highly venomous snake isn't aggressive, but its venom is the deadliest of any snake on Earth. How bad are we talking? A single bite carries enough venom to kill 100 grown humans. Designed specifically to obliterate mammals, its venom shuts down organs, causes convulsions, and paralyzes victims until they stop breathing. And since they strike with surgical accuracy, the odds of a dry bite, aka a lucky miss, are low. Even worse, the only effective anti-venom is actually made for its coastal cousin, and getting medical help in the middle of nowhere is unlikely. Most victims are herpetologists or snake handlers, but if you happen to cross paths in the wild, your best bet is to back away. Slowly. Number 5. Brazilian wandering spider. If you hate spiders, you might want to skip this one. The Brazilian wandering spider isn't just big. With a 7-inch leg span, it's huge. And unlike most venomous spiders that prefer to hide, this one lives up to its name, wandering into shoes, cars, clothes, and places you really don't want to find a lethal arachnid. If bitten, you've got 2 to 6 hours before lung failure, paralysis, and convulsions kick in, assuming you make it that long without passing out from sheer terror. Oh, and for men, the venom comes with an unwanted, prolonged side effect. Let's just say it's not the kind of spider bite you'd want to explain to a doctor. While fatalities are rare thanks to anti-venom, their habit of sneaking into human spaces makes them far more deadly than their reclusive cousins. If you're traveling in Central or South America, always shake out your shoes. Number 4. Stonefish. There are venomous fish, and then there's the stonefish, a creature so expertly camouflaged that you might not even know it's there until it's too late. Blending perfectly into the rocky seabed, this venomous ambush predator doesn't chase prey. It just sits and waits, armed with dorsal spines that deliver neurotoxins powerful enough to kill a human within an hour. The more pressure you apply, the more venom gets injected, making it the ocean's deadliest foot hazard. And if that wasn't bad enough, if a threat looms, the stonefish has a backup weapon, a lacrimal saber. Yes, that's a real thing, which is basically a switchblade built into its face. If stung, you'll need immediate anti-venom and hot water over 113 degrees Fahrenheit to break down the toxins. But the easiest way to avoid this literal death rock? Well, stay at your home and watch Mr. Beast. Number 3. Tsetse fly. At first glance, the tsetse fly looks like just another annoying insect, but don't be fooled. This tiny bloodsucker is responsible for spreading African sleeping sickness, a disease that slowly hijacks your brain. Found in sub-Saharan Africa, these flies aren't just looking for a quick meal, they're injecting microscopic parasites called trypanosomes, which can lead to neurological deterioration, severe behavioral changes, and eventually, death. Symptoms include uncontrollable fatigue, confusion, and loss of coordination, with victims falling into a coma before the disease finishes them off. There's no vaccine, and once symptoms start, treatment is difficult. Your best bet? Avoid them completely. Tsetse flies are attracted to bright and dark colors, especially blue, so wearing neutral clothing can help. If you're traveling through the African wilderness, permethrin-treated gear and avoiding thick bushes can reduce your risk. Otherwise, you might just get an uninvited parasite hitching a ride in your bloodstream. Number 2. Brown bear. Bears get a lot of love in pop culture, but in the wild, a brown bear is not your friend. These massive predators, which include grizzlies, can weigh up to 1,500 pounds and run 35 miles per hour, which means if one decides you're a threat, food, or just in the way, you're not outrunning it. Research in Alaska from 2000 to 2016 found that 96% of bear attacks involved brown bears, and conflicts are rising due to human expansion into bear territory. While most attacks happen when humans surprise them or get too close to cubs, some bears are aggressive by nature and will charge without warning. If one attacks, fighting back isn't an option. Your only real hope is to play dead and hope it loses interest. And let's be real, sometimes it's best to stay away from bears. Number 1. Deer. No claws, no fangs, no venom. So how do deer make this list? By being the deadliest animal on American roads. You might think of them as gentle woodland creatures, but in reality, deer are responsible for more human deaths in the U.S. than any other wild animal. Every year, over 58,000 vehicle collisions involve deer, resulting in 440 human fatalities, more than sharks, bears, and snakes combined. Why? Because deer don't follow traffic laws. They dart into highways, freeze in headlights, and turn cars into wreckage. Their population boom and lack of natural predators mean encounters are only increasing, making them a legitimate road hazard. So if you're driving in deer-heavy areas, especially at dawn or dusk, slow down and stay alert. A deer might not be a predator, but hitting one at 70 miles per hour is just as deadly as being crushed by lion's teeth. If you've enjoyed this video, like and subscribe. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you soon.